Looks like we're going live. It's Monday, December 14th, 2020. We're on a mission. John Lavenia here with you, on the mission with you for our Success Mastermind. We are almost exactly halfway through the month of December, the final month in this glorious year. Very interesting year that we've been having. Productive year for many of us here. Not so productive for some people, but I guess that's why we meet, right? That's why we get together and we talk about stuff, right? Ideas, thoughts, principles, philosophies that could potentially, if you use them, move them forward in your life. I know that's the question I ask myself every day is, am I using this stuff? Where is my integrity, right? It's one thing to sit there and have opinions about how life works. It's another thing to actually work it. So I want to welcome everybody to the beginning of another week. Actually, our week starts on Sunday. So let me acknowledge Wayne Bradford. I don't know if Wayne is here with us right now. I'm looking, I am not finding. Seek and ye shall find. Wayne is not here, but I shall find him elsewhere. He'll be here in a little bit. I know Wayne is our Metaphors for Success master. If you missed last night's session or yesterday's session, depending on your time zone, be sure to check that on the members site. But I am glad to see so many people, especially during as we come up close on this holiday experience. Let me take a look at a few of our members that are here right now. You see, this is kind of like a core group. And if you're seeing this on YouTube or Facebook or somehow third party, you're seeing this, these are just some of the people, just a handful of the people that show up every day, because what we know is that consistency is one of the first steps, one of the first principles, if you will, that we've got to apply if we're going to, get any results from all this effort that we're putting in. So everyone you see right here, right now, you're some of my favorite people in the world. We're going to be talking about that here today and why that is. I'm very excited about where I'm going with this. So I was in the gym. Oh, housekeeping, before we get into that. Housekeeping, today's Monday. So we do have a bunch of stuff on our calendar. Of course, we're in general session right now. We've got a hospitality suite that runs 24/7, as long as we're not in any other sessions. Like at 3 p.m. Eastern today, we have e-commerce work group with Stuart Wild. And I believe he's going to have a couple of our other fellow members here sharing on some Amazon related things, especially as it relates to selling into the United States and the UK and Australia and stuff like that. So e-commerce work group, 3 p.m. with Stuart Wild. And then we're going to be wrapping up today with the final chapter, Think and Grow Rich, chapter 15, The 6 Ghosts of Fear, the epilogue, right? The grand finale. Read that chapter. Oh my goodness. If you haven't read it yet, read that. We'll be getting together at 9 p.m. Eastern US time for that. So I was in the gym today doing my version of keeping my body strong and healthy and immune system and all that. I eat vegetables and lean proteins. I eat a ton of vitamins and I exercise. Lots of water. What else do I do? Stay on purpose. Know where I'm going in my life to the best of my ability, right? Know why I'm showing up. Have a reason for showing up. This is inspirational. This, I would argue, if we want to get into, psychosomatics and things like that, I would argue that keeps you healthy, right? Just like choosing the wrong thoughts over and over and over again, doom and gloom and despair. Well, that can have an effect on the body too. I'm not the doctor guy. I'm not purporting to know anything scientific or go against what the FDA and the gods who rule our thoughts, on the highest levels of governance or false governance dictate that we're supposed to believe. But I am here to tell you that one of the things that keeps me healthy is having a reason to be healthy, because I got work to do. I've got a purpose in my life, and it's different. It's different than yours. Isn't that beautiful? So here's the reminder that I got today while working out. That if you're just like everyone else, you've got nothing to offer except your own conformity. If I'm just like everyone else, I've got nothing to offer you but my own conformity. And the whole purpose of this group, naturally people are, my daughter just texted me, when are you going to be off that call? The call just started in an hour. Talk to me in an hour. She's on the other side of the door and she's texting me. And that's why you don't give 10-year-olds their own phone. Okay. Let me put on Do Not Disturb. That was a profound thought. And then I get the text. Isn't that how life works though? Isn't that it? Right? I remember mentioning this once before. There was this movie, As Good as It Gets. Jack Nicholson portrayed this romance author, and he was writing the final words of the book of love. And then love was, and he needed one more word to finish the chapter. And then the doorbell rings and he throws his shit. And oh my goodness, right? So that's how life works. But if I'm just like everyone else, I've got nothing to offer but my own conformity. Now, I've read some scripture which talks about be not conformed to this world. Be not conformed to this world, which brings me down this path of what reality am I creating? Here's where I was going with this. What's the whole purpose of this group? To help able people become more able, to reestablish causation in the lives of people who have, in many cases, like in my own, forgotten how powerful we actually are. Cause and effect, cause, effect. I live so much of my life in effect. What are they doing to me? What is the world, life, circumstances, the marketplace, conditions, viruses, right? What is being done to me? Effect. And I've got to rehabilitate my recognition that in so many ways that I have abandoned or eschewed or neglected or forsaken, in so many ways I am cause. In so many ways. But to know that, to actually know that and to act on that, that's a pretty tall order when we're seduced by all these effects or all these other causes, outside causes that want us to believe that we're effects. And all I can offer is my conformity as the effect, right? That's all I can do. Conform to the cause, conform to the authority, conform to something that isn't self-determined by me. So where does this lead me today? This leads me to the idea of recognizing how I've been cause in my life more and more and more, and how I've been willing to be cause in my life. This is a big conversation, guys, and it's as Adrian would say, seismic way to start the week. But I want you to consider this week for yourself, because we're entering a season, a holiday season here, where there is statistically, there is more joy, of course, right? 'Tis the season to be jolly. Don we now our gay apparel, which if you look up the words means now we put on our happy clothes. I always wondered about that lyric. But with that also comes, in contrast, a lot of people feeling alone, feeling, and I know we've got people here in the Mastermind group who say, hey, you know what? I'm kind of like a Christmas orphan over here. You guys want to get together on Zoom? Do it. Hospitality Suite's always open, right? In fact, oh my goodness, we got, excuse me, we got Virginia Pipitone's book on the Italian Christmas cookies. 3 of those recipes are on my counter right now, done. And I mean perfection. In fact, check the Facebook group because Shannon's putting pictures. And then I think on Fun Friday, if there are any cookies left, we'll actually demonstrate. Shannon will do a demo or something on the cookies. But Pignoli, my favorite. Oh my goodness. Italian Pignoli cookies. And Virginia, is she here? They came out perfect.
You're waking me up. Thank you. I need this.
Exactly right. I mean, exactly right. Like when I was like, 8 years old, growing up on the streets of New Jersey, and we would sometimes go to the Italian Corner Bakery and we'd get the Pignoli cookies. Exactly that. It was exactly right. Yay, Virginia. And then the other one, the sugar
Glad
cookies.
to hear it because I've never made them. So good to know. That was a really
I feel so, what? I can't, no, you had to, you originated that recipe. No? Yes.
No,
Oh man. Well, you sold the book. Yeah.
I used proven, tested recipes, and a lot of the recipes I have done and came from my mother-in-law, but that one did not.
Okay.
Not great.
Well, you're forgiven.
Okay.
All right, because the cookies were perfect. The other cookies were perfect too. We made 3 different varieties, and I'm sure one of them, at least one of them, you've actually made. Oh man. All right. So where was I going with this? Right. Cause and effect. Where I was going with this was recognizing that we have attracted people into our lives by choice, by being causative to attract certain people into our life because we intended to be jolly rather than be in a state of non-jolly, right? Despair, apathy, fear, regret, resentment, anger. Shall I go on? Right? I don't even like reading that list in my mind. Okay, but this season tends to amplify That's how I see it. It tends to amplify emotions that people harbor throughout the year. And I think part of that is because we're looking at the close of the year, and sometimes, and you can own this or not, you can say, no, John, this isn't me. But sometimes we look at the close of the year thinking, what did I or did I not accomplish? How on purpose was I or wasn't I? What did I offer to the world, including myself? I'm part of the world. What did I offer in the first 11 months or 11 and a half? And how do I feel about that? And can I catch up? Or can I celebrate that? I guess that's really the dichotomy. Have we had integrity up to this point? Have we had resolve? Have we followed through on our resolutions, assuming you do such things? I personally don't. Okay. I either have resolve now or I don't. But have we cause to celebrate or have we cause to regret? Great question. Great question. And so that brings me back to people and the idea of what we attract. So a lot of times people will, let's say in relationships, for example. So this has nothing to do with business per se, but you'll see how easily it fits right into business. So I'm looking for the right and ideal mate. Let's say you're single and you're alone and you're considering not being alone and you're wondering where all these wonderful people are. The right and ideal mate. Let's say that's a situation that you've confronted or that you're trying not to confront. Well, the way to have a friend is to be a friend. James Allen said, in life, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. You get who you are, right? So then the question comes back to me, okay, how have I been occurring in my own life and in the lives of others? Have I been the right and ideal mate? Have I been the leader, the person? Now we're going to get into business and into attracting customers, right? My right and ideal mates in terms of customers, right? In my enterprise, right? How do I attract those people? In fact, have I not already attracted them by being someone who resonates, who's on that same frequency with them, who can and hopefully pull people up to a higher frequency, to a higher level of understanding, to a higher level of beingness and doing and having more. I mean, what's the whole point of all this, right? To be, do, and have more. And as long as I'm striving to be, do, and have more, as long as I continue my studies and continue being in conversations with great people like yourselves and masterminding and applying to the best of my ability principles in my life. Yes, principle-based living, principle-centric living. The more I do that, the more attractive I become to people who are also on that path or who want to be more fully on that path. So my question to everyone here who's in this conversation, who I just celebrated right at the beginning, that you're all here, my question to you is, do you recognize how powerful, how attractive you are to the right people in your life? Do you recognize that? It's right there. The evidence is in your face. There it is. You attracted this group, this conversation, your friends, business partners. You know how many business deals we got going on behind the scenes? I don't, because I'm not privy to all of them. Okay. A lot of times a private business deal. I have nothing to do with that. But my goodness, there are people right now who are wondering, who feel like they're all alone. They're out in the cold, man, and they're all alone, and they're throwing money at false gurus on the interwebs, trying to teach them the secrets of the latest Facebook hacks or whatever. And oh my goodness, way more important than all that stuff, which is secondary or tertiary, way more important is the primary issue of who's doing it. Who's doing it? And is that person empowered? Is that person empowered by the associations they keep? And do those associations help them move forward consistently, right? That's the thing. Consistently move forward towards that ideal. What did Earl Nightingale say the definition of success, his favorite definition is? The progressive realization of a worthy ideal, making progress to make something more and more real, something worthy of me, an ideal that's worthy of me. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal, making more real that which I want. So in other words, attracting more of what I want and less of what I don't. And anyone who's on this path can feel quite fortunate, but it's not because you were the effect and how fortuitous that somehow you just showed up. You attracted that. Now, if you own that, if you're willing to own that you attract good things into your life, now you've got a shot. Now you've got a shot of offering the world something more than conformity. Now you've got the ability to say, you know what? I caused this. I am knowing and willing to be cause in my life and in fact in the lives of others, because you don't do anything alone. All opportunities come through other people. You want to start attracting the right and ideal people into your life, you're going to be the right and ideal person to attract those people. This is a work in progress. This is not something that I can just snap my fingers and say, you know what, I've been a ne'er-do-well for the last millennia, and now suddenly I am a new man. To quote Ralph Emerson, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them? So you can't fake this. And I think that's where myself, when I look at a lot of the stuff that goes on in the marketplace in terms of quick fix type solutions to more chronic problems, right? And people quite often look astray, right? I think in this case, people who are here with us and who have been here with us, and this isn't just a tongue bath for everybody here right now, whether you're live or you're catching the replay, but there's a bigger purpose. There is a bigger commitment level on the part of the individual who not only recognizes the usefulness of personal development, in other words, that you get to be more causative in your life. That's the whole point of personal development, is making you more causative, right? More able. But not only do you recognize that, but you're acting on that in a consistent way. Just like when I go to the gym, as easy as it is to do it, it's even easier to not do it. That's the whole point. So if we can simplify this whole thing, we can simplify this whole equation of how do I get more of what I want and less of what I don't. Every question that comes up, should I or shouldn't I? Should I make this decision? Should I take this action? Can be answered two questions. Is this going to move me in the direction of my goals? Yes or no? If yes, second question, will this violate the rights of other people? Yes or no? If no, we act. That's it. Will this move me in the direction of my goals? Yes. Will it violate the rights of other people? No. Action. That's it. This eliminates procrastination. This puts you back in the driver's seat because you're deliberately choosing to act or to not act. And one of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes here, which I've got to get out, I've got to get out before the beginning of the year. This has got to get done. It's a productivity program, which will accelerate, if one applies it, which will accelerate one's doing this and one's results exponentially, not incrementally, exponentially, because we've gotten out of our own way. We've gotten out of our own way. And doesn't it feel good to get out of your own way? I'm just thinking about the words. So often I've been in my own way. So often I've subordinated myself and my own intention to circumstances or to all the mind thoughts that go around. You know, when I think about a problem, all these problems I've had, what did Samuel Clemens say? I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never actually happened. But when all my thinking about it, thinking, all that internal dialogue, all that inner conflict, all that intention versus counter intention, fight, all of that, it's energy and I'm going to use it somehow. Is that a good use of it? Or what if we just took the brakes off? What if we stopped thinking so much about it and complicating it and we just got on with it because it's on purpose, because it's moving us in the direction of our worthy ideal, and because we know our own ethics and no, we're good people. We're not violating the rights of others. Let's go ahead and let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's deliver that product into the marketplace. Let's attract the ideal customers. Let's attract that right and ideal mate into our relationships. Let's attract the physically fit body with the great immune system and all that by doing high integrity things, nutrition, exercise, right? Supplementation, water. Therese gave us a lecture on water Friday on our integrative nutrition. Look, these aren't complicated things. I would argue that the height of mastery is simplicity. Simplicity. It's not so damn complicated. Like right now, I'm studying for my my ham radio technician's examination. I'm going to take the technicians and the general. There's different tiers of it. And so there's all this math, and I'm not a big math guy. You guys know that. I'm into philosophy, right? You're showing me math now. I'm doing math, and I got it. I got the math, and it's the math that I need to know to be able to, like, you know, figure out how antennas work and stuff like that. That's fine. By the way, I looked up the word antennas to see if it was a valid word. I always called it antennae. That's the plural of antenna. Well, it turns out the plural of antenna is antennae if you're talking about insects. It's antennas if you're talking about radios. Now you know. I didn't know that. Okay, so antennas is a real word. But there's all this complication to get down to the simplicity of it, right? Which is delivering communication across the interwebs, or not the interwebs, in this case, the airwaves, right? Marconi did that 100 plus years ago. So remembering the basics, the fundamentals, right? And then in this case, find practical ways to apply them. I think that's the height of mastery. Consistency. This is it. Without that, you really got no shot. We read this in Think and Grow Rich, where he talked about the chapter on persistence and how it related to all the other principles. Consistently choosing the right thoughts. Autosuggestion, the keystone in the arts of the philosophy. Autosuggestion, right? Continued reminding ourselves through our own inner dialogue of how powerful we actually are. And one affirmation you could take right now and make sure you say you could, I'm not telling you what to do. You could say this to yourself every day, multiple times a day. And that is that every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And I say that to myself. And guess what happened? I showed up at the gym. I mean, I showed up at the gym because every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And wouldn't you know it? Am I just speaking this into existence? Oh my goodness, it's real. My lifts are going up. My weight and my repetitions going up. I'm getting strong. Oh wow, I guess it works. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I heard someone say that, what we really fear is not so much that we're weak and useless, but we fear that we're powerful and perhaps we're squandering that power. Dare I reach? I dare reach. I haven't reached enough. If there's one thing I could fault myself for consistently in my life, is not reaching enough, not having enough of an impact, not being loud enough in some cases. And I know some of you Brits think I'm a brash Yankee. Get loud, damn it. I love you guys. All I could say is that I was inspired today thinking of you, thinking of this group, thinking of the people who choose to whether you're in this group or not, people who choose to participate in a conversation that allows you to be more cause and less effect in your life, because your ethics are good, your integrity is in, you've got purpose, you've got reason for showing up, and you are just blasting through obstacles and ignoring distractions, keeping it simple and moving in the direction of the predetermined, self-determined outcomes that you've chosen for yourself. I love you guys. I'm going to stop talking now. We're going to open up the microphones for sharing. Hopefully I didn't put everybody to sleep. Let's see who wants to talk. Virginia Pipitone, the Cookie Master.
Good morning here in Colorado, afternoon, evening, the rest of the world. I spent an hour this morning making an order on a website that should have taken 15 minutes and screaming at the computer because this website, I order things quarterly and it's always difficult to navigate. And when I got into putting things in, basically, I was trying to edit the cart and basically it said, your session has timed out. I'm like, but I'm active in my session. How can I time out, And so then I have to go back in and find that my cart is empty and I have to start all over again. And I have computer and tech issues. It's a wonder I ever published a book. I have computer and tech issues that are random, that make me feel like I'm losing my mind. And then they do things like on something that you order, you can check out, and that's your only option. So then you have to get out of there and then go order again. And then some things that you put in, you can check out or continue shopping. It makes me feel like I'm going crazy because did I miss that option on the other ones? Oh no, they didn't have it on the other ones. Anyway, the bottom line is I have had tech issues for years because I continue to scream at the computer, which my work IT department says you cannot scream at your computer. The computer guys will get you. They will be to you. So I'm attracting that into my life and I have to just stop with that, but it's just like random. And when you look at the law of attraction and the movie and the book and everything, it's not a predictable, like it was always going to be the printer's not going to work. It's just going to be random things that poke at you. Like, have you ever been to a bullfight?
No.
I went to one in Madrid when I was 17 years old because I grew up an airline brat. My dad worked for Pan Am. So the picadors, They're the ones that come out on the horse with the long spears and they poke at the bull. The bull just comes out, he's like, fine, I'm just having a great day. Look at all these people. It's sunny, So they have to make him mad. So the picadores, they pick at him, and they prompt him. He gets a little blood drawn until he's now mad and ready for the matador to come out with his long sword hiding under the red cape, and it's not the red, it's the movement that it makes the bull. So it's pretty interesting, but the bull's not ready for a fight when he starts. Use these things to pick at him, to make him angry. And I feel like that's a lot of time how life just does things to us. It's just picking at us. And we have to choose then, are we going to be ready for the matador? And, okay, I'm ready to kill you now. Or are we going to try to just wander off? And I digress. I don't even know where all that came from. But I put in the chat that I always get a great parking space. I mean, it can be pouring rain and someone will pull out right in front of the door and I'll pull in. Because for years, I'm talking like 20 or more years, I have said, well, someone's got to get the parking space closest to the door. Why can't it be me? And so I fed that. So it's just a matter, like my company is called White Wolf Unlimited, and it's about the one you feed on there. I was going to attempt it this morning, just go back to bed, but I can't because I'm also supposed to be working. And I thought, I need my group. I need my John Lavenia, mastermind. And it's always puts me in the right focus and gets me back on track. And I just wanted to express the thankfulness for that and brighten my day that you baked cookies and they came out good.
That's right. Oh, they came out perfect.
Awesome.
Not good. Perfect.
Awesome.
So, and you know what, Virginia, let me celebrate you that you're not the picador or the matador doing those cruel things to animals. So thank you for not doing that.
Getting picked at,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but I guess the other part of that is if you feel like the toro, that you feel like the bull, okay, well that's not very causative, right? And so what are we focused on? Right? You're not physically in a bull ring and there's no one physically picking at you. So, but if I feel that way, let me take inventory. Why do I allow myself to be the effect of all these little ankle biting things? Great question. And that's what I'm focused on today. And Koila has the floor. Hi, Koila. How are you, my friend?
I am fine, thank you, John. And I'm glad to hear that you made some biscuits and enjoyed them. Not my kind of thing, really, but yeah, it is. I had a lot of things to do with biscuits that weren't at all amenable to me, really, in the bakehouse. So yeah, not going down the biscuit route again in a hurry. So yeah, what came up for me was brought up at the beginning of this session and during it, and another thing just popped into my head, and that's non-attachment. Non-attachment is such an important thing, and it's in most, well, I think it's probably in all of the major philosophies. It's certainly in the Buddhist, Hindu, Tao thing, and the Wu way of doing without doing, which seems to be a bit of a conundrum, but it's not really. It's a way of doing things without being attached to what comes as a result of them. And I think you find if you're not attached to the result, if you're not needy, I think that's the thing. If you're attached, then you're needy. So if you're trying to sell somebody something and you're really needy about it, they can feel that, and it's not good. If you're looking for a girl, a woman or a man or a partner, if you're needy about that, I've got to find somebody, it puts people off. So I think non-attachment is a really important skill to learn, and the other really important skill is being is responding rather than reacting. So instead of reacting to the computer, for instance, you respond in a different way. So leave it, or come back later, or phone them up, or whatever. Just think how you're going to respond to that rather than just react with anger, because that just very rarely gets you anywhere. And that's my several cents worth. And I'm trying very hard to be cause in my life and be non-attached and responsive, not reactive. Don't always succeed, but I'm trying hard.
Well, you seem pretty level-headed to me, Coila. You get my vote. Yeah. Back when I was a mechanic, there were times where I'd be working on a machine, inanimate object, right? Has no opinion about me. And I can't get it to work. And I walk away and I come back fresh, done. Right. So interesting stuff. Who was at cause for that? Me, right? Hey, Bill, we got Sonia. Let's go to Bill.
John, you tell lies. Inanimate objects do have feelings and lives and thoughts because they mess our lives up. Because every time I worked on an aircraft and it didn't go right. Yeah, no, you're right about everything there, as usual. A very good subject. So for me, certainly this last couple of days has been good in that I faced a massive fear yesterday on my progress through this wonderful journey, in that I did a tour of Belfast with a colleague who still works in the place and an ex-colleague who is a tour guide. And he takes you around Belfast and points out all the terror spots throughout the Troubles. And if any of you guys ever get to hear, I'll take you on it. It's really good. It can be very impactful, obviously, but certainly for myself, there were times I had to inform my friend, right, you can stop talking now. I'm going to walk away for a second and come back when I've recomposed myself and started breathing again. And I've actually found it quite cathartic, to be perfectly honest. But the positivity side for me was, John, that my friend that I took with me, Neil, has been my right arm through the mental health journey. A guy that's ex-soldier as well and knows all about what way things go. And he was the initial person to steer me onto the law of attraction, the whole gambit, the whole power of the universe thing, and what you do or what you think will attract what comes into your life. And the longer this journey goes on, the more I can see that. Yesterday was fantastic in that I attracted a better attitude for myself in respect of remembering things that normally would have massively upset me. I do have to say there were a few tears shed now and again, but that's because I've now rediscovered that I've got emotions now that I'm off medication. Hardly that's good. It's not so good when it hits you like a frigging steam train. And people are saying, but you're upset, you're crying. No, leave me alone. This is great. I'm enjoying this because I haven't cried for years. So, I mean, and this is a positive thing. And the people that were around me that day, everything that you went for, everything that you did was so grateful, and the positivity that I received back from the whole process. And it just made you feel like, hey, I can conquer this. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, today, you all know my situation present. I have this house on the market, put it on the market on Friday. I had 2 people in today, and the sales guy came to me and says, I think we've sold the house. And I thought, what? I says, but I haven't got anywhere to go yet. Can you hold that back? Going to be living in my Volkswagen Golf for another few days.
You and that puppy.
Yeah, me and the puppy. Me and you and a dog named Boo. It's not the song. But that's, therein lies the positivity and the result of being positive. That I didn't, Coyle just said about being needy there. I didn't sort of put over the needy case that I need to sell this house. I don't need to sell this house that I'm in at present. This is just something else on the journey. But having that right mental attitude about the whole process, for people who are looking at the property, I just thought, yeah, my God, it does work. All this stuff does actually work. And I am the greatest. And I'm sure there are lots of people on here who are fabulous at telling everybody all the positive things about the law of attraction, the power of the universe, having that self-belief. And we're like a car mechanic. We leave our own car in shit state. We leave our own mind in shit state instead of doing it ourselves. So keep up the good work, John. I'm enjoying it. Keep me going. Keep kicking me up the ass and telling me to get my act together.
I love you, Bill. To watch transformation happen right before our eyes is pretty profound, I think. And And if I could be a little footnote in the book of success that you are creating, that's why I'm here. So thank you, Bill. Thank you, your brother. I'd love to see Belfast, by the way. I remember one of the first record albums that I ever got as a youth, because my stepfather was working for the record distribution company, and anything that was a blem or imperfect, he could take home, and we're not going to sell these. And one of the first albums I ever had, and I still have it, is Horse Lips, the Belfast Gigs. Horse Lips, yeah. And it's a great album. I've listened to some of their other albums. And I'm like, kind of, rocky, whatever. But the Belfast Gigs, what an album that was. Anyway, check it out, everybody.
I've heard it.
You've heard it. Okay. So let me see. Where are we at here? We got Sonia, who's about to enlighten us, and then Glenn, who's probably going to tell us about something to do with Star Trek. Hi, Sonia. Let's get Sonia out here. Oh, I just muted Sonia. Crap. Sonia, unmute again. I clicked the button, just exactly the same time that you clicked the button. Sonia, please unmute. Sonia, cannot hear you.
We are in sync.
There
we
she
just
is. Okay.
Clicking the buttons together.
Right.
Really good topic, as always. I found when I started doing my personal growth journey that I had no idea what my personal needs were or what my boundaries were. I didn't know how to verbalize those emotions because I'd been very analytical most of my life and not very much in touch with my emotions. So being the analytical person, I started assigning, if I was to make a decision, if I go in this direction, does it make me feel stronger or weaker? Because if I feel strong, then I know I'm going towards my internal guidance system. I'm going toward my integrity, my things that resonate fine with me. So that was something that I still use today when any decision I make. Does this make me feel stronger or weaker? Signing up for the Blue Sky Amazon course. I didn't have the money, put it down like that. I never spend money like that. And then for 3 days was like, this feels really strong. This is okay, relax, calm down. This feels really strong, it'll be good. And yes, to echo Koila, non-attachment to it. I think I'm doing so well with it because I consider everything I do with it gravy, and it's a process. I'm not desperate for a financial end. I know where I want to go, but I'm not worried that my retirement plans or my future existence relies on that income coming in. So there is definitely a thing with non-attachment. That's a very good point to make. Recently, I got asked out on a date for the first time in years. Look at you all, you're so cute. This man is nowhere near anything I would date. However, energy is moving because nobody has asked me out. So I just noticed that, oh, look, energy is now moving. But I went on the date anyway, because why not? I need the practice. I haven't done it in many years. And 2 days ago, Friday night, we had another date. And you could just tell, I knew something shifted in me in the past week or so with the progress that I've been making and the wins that I shared with you guys recently. I just knew that something had shifted. And the date ended very, very short. It was a very short date. And as I was walking to my car, I'm like, I just lost him. And that's okay. Because he doesn't resonate. There was in the beginning, like a little bit, but by the second time, there's something in me that shifted. I'm just, that energy does not match anymore. So I'm okay. Good luck to you. But I'm just so excited to see energy moving, and walking away from that made me feel stronger. So I know that that's the right decision. It falls within my internal compass. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, and thank you again for bringing up this topic. It's a really good one, and I'm so glad to be part of this group. I just love you guys all so much. You're all so awesome, and I wish you the best weeks coming forward.
Thank you. And congratulations on your increased confidence. So when we talk about witnessing transformation, there it is again. So no mistakes here. Speaking of transformation, I'm going to bring out now our head authority on all things to do with captains and doctors and Bones. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you, brother. How you
Hey,
doing?
good morning, my man, and good morning, team. You said that predicted I was going to say something with regard to Star Trek.
Well, when Bill was talking, I was thinking, well, what if we could be Vulcans? Then none of us have emotions, right? I was
Well-
thinking that's exactly where my mind went, and then I saw you.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that? This is kind of a side note to what I was actually going to say. Interesting thing about that is there is a misconception about Vulcans in the popular culture. The misconception is that Vulcans do not have emotions. The fact is, Vulcans have the same emotions and experience the same emotions as other sentient beings. They've simply learned to control them and to not allow their decisions to be made primarily on the basis of emotion. So there's a big difference between lack of emotion and emotional control. So in that sense, may we all be Vulcans. The other thing I was going to say about Star Trek is latest schedule. The book will be up for sale on Amazon this week.
Awesome. By the way, folks, I read that book and I wrote the foreword to it.
You did.
So I'm excited to see it in print or on Kindle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what you were talking about today, you didn't exactly punch me in the face today, as you usually do. It was more a friendly reminder of that which we already know so well. And this was a lesson that for me changed literally, and no, this is an overused word, literally changed everything. And it was the realization, you were talking about causation, being at cause rather than at effect in our lives. When I realized that 100% of the circumstances in which I currently find myself in my life, personal, financial, physical, spiritual, relationship, you name it, 100% of the circumstances in which I currently find myself are the result of the choices that I have made in my life to this point. Oh, well, you don't understand the white man this and the Republicans and the Labor Party that and the government and the blah, 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 blah. Man, what they did to... It's all on me. Everything in my life is on me. And when I finally came to that realization, it was a wonderfully liberating moment. It didn't become about guilt or remorse or beating myself up. It was wonderfully liberating because I then also realized that 100% of the power to change my circumstances is also in my hands. So the bad news is, I don't get to blame anybody else anymore for my life. The good news is, I don't get to blame anybody else anymore. It's all here. It's all right here. Am I living this perfectly day by day? Yeah, right. I do know beyond a doubt that my future is right here. And I often suggest to people that the sooner we come to that realization, the sooner we get to set ourselves free and then set about designing the life and the results that we truly want. So my realization for today, back to you, Reverend.
Thank you, brother. It's so liberating. And at the same time, I think it's also what Glenn was just saying is something that we could easily reject. No, I'm a victim. And if we argue for our own victimhood and our own limitations, well, you get more of that. We've heard law of attraction come up a few times in this conversation already. Well, what if we weren't a victim? I guess we got to choose, right? Interesting. We got Therese here I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to click the unmute button because she already did. Oh, there she goes. Hey, Therese, thank you for that talk on water on Friday, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there.
I've been drinking more water since you told me to. Right.
I know. I assume everyone has spent the weekend in the restroom after that call.
Yeah, right.
It'll level off, I promise.
Right.
Great topic today. And, it's just, it's uncanny how it can be spot on, and maybe everyone feels like that. I don't know. But you may remember a few months back, I think it was in August, late August, early September, a company reached out to me, a fine jewelry company, and had come across my resume. Someone referred me, and so they were talking with me about coming back on as an account manager for my territory, and of which my resume is full of, right? And varying degrees of that job for 17 years, right? So it's a pretty impressive resume. I think the problem with it is that it dates me. So, it's like you've got all the experience in the world, but all of a sudden you're too experienced. It's kind of a funny, I can't decide what it is. I either don't have exactly the pinpoint right experience, or I have too much experience and they think they have to pay me too much, or they know that I'm old. So I'm not sure what it is, but long story short, we've been back and forth since August. They had made the decision to not hire for fourth quarter. And so we were supposed to talk after the holiday, Thanksgiving. So this last Friday, I received the email saying that they chose someone who was better qualified for the position. So, and I've been putting it out there, right? I'm moving in a different direction. I know where I'm going, but I purposefully was putting it out there that I wanted this to catapult my getting to the bigger picture, right? So I was pretty disappointed, and I felt a little confused because they found me and said, "You're perfect for this position. And what do you think about that? What do you think?" So I have to admit, I had Friday was a bit of a pity party for me, and I didn't melt down. I met my sister. We had a glass of wine, which we frequently do on Friday, and we talked a little bit about it. And I'm going to call them today, and I'm going to just have I'm going to ask for a little informational interview, and I would like to find out what it is that I'm missing. What qualifications am I missing to go forward, in searching for another opportunity in that arena? So I'm going to reach out from an informational way to just find out what's missing on my resume. But I think, I did have a little pity party. It didn't really hit me until Saturday, but Friday it was like, okay, how can I look at this a little differently? What am I intellectualized it. So that was a little different, because I think I would have been like, I'm unworthy. I'm, what's wrong with me? I don't have enough education. I think the old me would have fallen into that pit of woe is me. I'm not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of change, right? And again, purposefully attracting what you want. And that job opportunity came at me because I knew I needed something to help me formulate my plan and build my foundation for my big picture. So it's kind of interesting. And maybe I don't need it at all. Maybe it's going to happen and I just need to trust that. There's all this rolling through my head. I guess the bottom line, to boil it down, is I did respond differently in the moment than I would have in the past. And that's because of all of the personal development from this group and you, John, and just all of the tools that we've put into place and that I've put into place since this started. So thank you. I did melt down Saturday, and I want to just give love and gratitude to Caroline, who was there for me on Saturday. Well, we frequently will have coffee together. It's maybe she's drinking wine or making dinner and I'm having morning coffee, but I just really appreciated the friendship. I think we've all built a lot of close connections here, but I was able to just talk about it. And I guess, again, I still don't feel like I responded the way that I would have in the past, but I was able to just talk about it, and tears rolled out and I expressed myself. And literally after we hung up, I pulled myself together. I went and bought a few holiday cards and I wrote holiday cards. So it was a win-win. And I just appreciate that opportunity to not shove the disappointment down, but to communicate about it in a constructive way and process it. So thank you for bringing this up. And practicing, unattachment is also huge. A huge one for me, and I was kind of met with that. The person who I had thought should be there for me wasn't able to be there, and I got a little miffed about that, which again, stepping back from it a couple of hours later after I was a little bit miffed, I was like, come on, like whatever, everyone's got their life. That person, just because that person is your close relationship or your close partner, doesn't mean that they have to be there for everything, right? I mean, talk about codependency. And so I was like, no, I utilized other tools and I managed it. So anyway, gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Therese. While Therese was talking, I was thinking about the words that came up for me was, can you get the job done? And I think if I was looking to employ someone, that would be the number one thing in my mind. Can you get the job done? Oh, you got all this other experience. Is it relevant now? Great, you're hired. Let's go. Are you working yet? How about now? How about now? How about now? So maybe like was already indicated by some people in the chat, maybe they're vague on what they need and this isn't the right opportunity for you. And here comes the better, bigger, more correct one. Right. So, but I think in your case, definiteness that here I am, I'm here to get the job done and I know what the job is and I'm going to make you guys some money right now, right? Because it's an enterprise, right? We're talking about people getting paid. I'm sure Ego has some thoughts about that. Let's bring Ego out here, whether she likes it or not. Actually, her hand was up. So Ego, you've got the floor. Ego, where's Ego? Uh-oh, did we lose Ego? Ego. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, there she is.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, great, great topic. And what stood out for me was your comment about the principle centered living. So aside from the right people being attracted to us, I think it causes us not to react to outward situations or influences, just like Therese just said. So principles like integrity, consistency, honesty, unattachment actually centers us, I think, and it gives us the ability to make life-changing decisions. So where we show up on purpose, like you said, right? We have to, where we show up on purpose, where we're intentional about how we approach things from a principles perspective, then I think it just helps us stay, it's like a compass. It helps us stay centered, and we are deliberate about our decisions. We're deliberate about, we're mindful about what we're doing, whatever action we're taking, we're actually on purpose. So I do like that, phrase, principle-centered living. So, I mean, of course, everything else makes sense, but that's what kind of stood out for me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Ego, you occur as someone who does it, right? So that's why it stands out. We recognize that which we are. Mm. And by the way, everyone, Ego's book, which I'm just digging into. Oh man, I can't wait to read that. I've got 4 books right now I'm working on, and Ego's is next on my list. By the way, I don't see any other hands up. I did mention we are having Think and Grow Rich grand finale tonight. Our next book is going to be 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is perfect for starting the new year. All right. So grab a copy of 7 Habits, Steve Covey, and we're going to go through that. But thank you all. I'm not seeing any other hands. Any burning desires, you can go ahead and unmute your mic. Lots of love in the chat roll today as well. Look, we're going to get together again in a couple hours with Stuart on e-commerce work group. And then of course, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, I'm going to be here with y'all for the Think and Grow Rich. In the meantime, make it an awesome day. I mean, if not you, then who, right? Let's do it. I will see you guys in a little bit.